I think we can always edit it.
Alright.
You tell me when you get going.
It's on now.
Well, here we are in one of the many rooms, jammed with old radios, TVs, and tons of Christmas lights. I didn't see anything worthy of note on YouTube, with a few exceptions of really old Christmas lights. Everybody's doing the how to fix the minis. And I think we're going to take a look in one of the many boxes of Christmas lights which are stacked, and see if we can bring something to light. And my friend Mike here is the expert with the camera. And there's my ghetto light that lets me see the switch to turn on the main light, and you can shoot that there. And it's nice and nicotine-filled, old
Nice socket.
30s fixture.
Was it white to begin with?
Yeah. It's got lots of what they call Irish lace. And over there is some old Christmas lights in a clear bag. If you can close up on that, we might take a look at that little particular pile of stuff. All these boxes plus 25 other huge cartons in the attic are loaded for future goods.
That's all Christmas lights?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's nothing. There are rooms full. Here's a pink Olympic TV which works. Circa 1965, Very I Dream of Jeannie. So, Mike, let me see if I can get in there and grab that box of Christmas lights. One small box. You never see C-6. I'm so tired of seeing all the Molamana stuff.
That's the bulb size, right?
Yeah. The bulb. You do a little shot of the general mess of this. Here's a couple of 20s. This might even be older. Of what they call C-6 Christmas lights. This is the socket and the size type that they had been using since 1903 after candles. This is a later bulb. It's got the GE block letter. We can go into that at a later time. There's the rare pink, and that has the meatball. And it's orange, which is usually Canadian. Some of these are from the 1920s and have the circular logo. Contrary to what some people talk about, there's a big difference in C6 over the decades, which nobody seems to properly log. Here's a smooth cone. These, from a letter I got from GE, came out in 1920, possibly 1919. That's the smooth cone. Later on in the 30s and 40s, they went to the fluted. And even that changed over the decades. And GE extolled the fact that they reduced the size. As you can see, it's slight, but this is pointier and longer and has a less shiny coating on it. This was pretty much the later issue. Untangling C6 being the circular is a nightmare, but I did get that part done. So we're going to try to shove some 110 into these things and see what happens. Let me get my, there we go. Now they're lit. They have a cloth cord. Now the thing with these that seemed to be a nuisance for people years ago was that when one bulb goes out, they all go out. So then you got to search for the dead one.
How many volts are those?
These bulbs are approximately 15 volts each. They're similar to flashlight bulbs that they run in series. And people, you could see even in the movie A Christmas Story, which isn't actually using the right lights, and they say the green set is out, that's what they meant. The reason why they ran them in series years ago was sort of a safety thing. They didn't want to run the full line voltage in all the sockets. With these, if anything happens, it pretty much breaks the circuit. And people would be unscrewing them and looking for the bad one, and actually that was fun if you like that kind of thing. This set looks to be really like a 30s job. And they're in a circle, which makes it kind of hairy for decorating, and they don't have end plugs. But this is what people used right up into the 60s. And then they would usually mix these in with the later C-7, which is GE came out with in 1934. These are all 6 sets. C-6. The C-7s are your usual. You'd go to your handy little Woolworths down there. I used to love it as a kid. And there was your pack of bulbs, pre-tested, all in there, with the name and the brand on them.
Which they don't do that anymore, do they?
No. As a matter of fact, it's really difficult to find these bulbs anywhere. They've been made in China for 20 years, and the packaging is literally nothing. Here's a 50s earlier GE C-6, which is the replacement for these. From the 50s, they gave you 5 bulbs. Later on, they brought it down to 4.
So where'd you find all those in packs?
I go all over the place. Flea markets, anything that moves. Series type. These were referred to for decades. Now when you mention to somebody, oh, it's like an old series tree light set, they look at you funny. But even in electronics, they refer to a series circuit as being similar to the old series Christmas light string. Now, of course, you get blank stares, even with people who are old enough to know better. Here's another example of C-7. That's the later ones, like a nightlight shape. That's a Westinghouse, the name proudly stamped on there. Ceramic base. I mean ceramic coating. You can't get this coating off. It's literally like porcelain.
A ceramic coating?
Yep.
Never heard of that in a light bulb.
Oh yeah. And then later, about 57, GE came out with the blinker, and they made it transparent because they didn't want anybody to be confused and pick up a blinker and stick it in their tree, and it drives some people nuts, and other people fill the tree with these things, which is a lot of fun. Want to pause it a sec?